2 years younger than you. He's playing pro ball.
Yeah, he's a hoop. Yeah, I remember he balled out. I'm pretty sure I remember him.
Yeah, he's a hooper. He moved out to Atlanta and he uh just like grew, bro. Like he played freshman on the freshman team, went to Atlanta, grew, lost some weight, and fucking went D1, and it was crazy. Only if Great
Damn,
Falls
that's
High got to keep him. But all right, we're live. We'll be getting some people in and out of here as we come and we go. We
Oh, you
got
tagged me in that post?
Yep, tagged you in that post. Um, we got Heff, we got Tommy Gun Mcmillen in here too, baby. We'll be
I
we'll be
go.
interviewing Tommy. Kind of getting a little dive into what a day in his life's like. You know what I mean? He got some ambitions, make it to UFC, fight professionally. He already is. Just let's get a little insight in here. But we got episode 2 coming up, Skywalking with Wetz and Heff, and we're gonna kind of get right into it. So, Tommy, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yep. How's that Arizona heat right now? First off, I didn't ask you that earlier.
It's hot. It's hot. Actually, I don't mind it though. I do a lot of runs outside in the heat. The the hot weather feels good on the muscles, so I mean, I
Yep.
don't mind it too much.
Is it like I've been to Arizona a couple times, but it was in the winter. But like, is the summer? Is it like a sauna type feel? Like
I
that kind of
mean,
hot?
yeah, it kind of just depends on the day, I'd say. I feel like it's like, I mean, this summer it's been like 110, 115. It's just been, yeah, hot as shit. But I mean, it's not like that like moist of a hot, it's kind of just a little dry, so it's not
Yep.
too bad.
Have you ever tried where you take the egg and cook it outside on your porch?
No, but I should do that. I should cook it
That's
on the front.
probably
I should
plenty
cook it
warm
on the
for
front
that.
of the hood of the car. Is what I should do.
I've seen people cook freaking frozen pizzas in their car. Just throw it on the
Like
dashboard and leave it all day.
people's fucking garbage cans be melting and shit outside. It's nuts out
That's
there,
crazy.
dude. I'll be going outside lately too, like door to door in between my like training sessions, selling solar and shit. So like, fuck, dude, I'm out there in the heat, and then I run out in the heat, but I love it, and fuck it, I love it. It's
I
not
bet you
bad.
I bet you do get used to it. Like out here in Denver right now, we be hitting like 95, 99. And honestly, I'm starting to just get used to it. Like the elevation and like the heat, like you get used to it. So I bet like think about a run in 115 right now for me. I'm like, that's psychotic. But like if you're used to that, I bet you it's like
My shit, bro. It feels good though. Like I feel like I'm just used to. I mean, when we're all training in the room and shit, bro, it gets so hot in there. Like I feel like I'm just used to that. Like shit, my body just feels good and when it's fucking hot.
yep. Yep. All right, I'm throwing this on Insta. All right, we
Ooh,
chilling now. We chilling now. What up, Randy? How you doing, baby?
Hey, anyone watching on Twitch right now, drop questions. We'll ask questions as we go. If you have any for Tommy, just let us know. We'll
Yep.
let him know your questions. So we're interactive. Anything you got, any feedback, any questions, anything you got, throw it in there.
Yep. Let us know, baby. We'll get it going. We'll ask some questions. Randy said he's good, but Tommy, let's kind of dig in here. All right. So you're out in AZ now, and oh, my wife's FaceTiming me. I gotta tell her not right now. Um, you're in AZ now, but you started up in Montana. Okay. When I first met you, do you remember when your pops? It was like blizzarding out. Me and some random like kids. You probably didn't even know us. Were out playing
mm-hmm.
football at some park, and your dad just dropped you off and just dipped, and you
Yep.
came and played with us and
You know that
raised.
that park was I lived like right by that park.
Oh
So I
shit.
would just like walk there, and I remember seeing you guys there playing football one day, and like I was like, "Fuck, dude! Like I need to get in on that action." So like I walked up over there. Yeah, but fuck, that was sick as fuck. I remember that. That was dope.
Um, but yeah, that's the first time I met you. And then like I started to realize like the wrestling side of you and we got into middle school, got into high school and we watched you kind of do your thing. So like for those who don't know, can you give them like a little introduction to like kind of how you came up and to kind of get where you're at? You know what I mean? Like coming from Great
Yeah,
Falls and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. I mean, That's a long story, but yeah, let's get into it. I mean, I grew up wrestling in Great Falls, obviously, since I was like 3 years old. You know, some of my earliest memories I've ever had were me just out competing on the mat. Like that's so I grew up around wrestling, did it my whole life, and then obviously wrestled for Great Falls High, all 4 years, and then yeah, so
So kind of coming up, what was that wrestling group you were in, like in middle school, like the club?
um.
Was it Montana Rugrats or something like that?
It was sick. No, it was North Montana. It was sick, dude. It had like like a lot of people you know too, like Casey Dobson, Kessler, Walker was in there, a bunch of us. So I mean, that was sick as fuck. Yeah. But I grew up doing that club wrestling. Then went and wrestled at Great Falls High. Obviously, won state a few times. Bounced up out of that bitch. Said I'm not going to school. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? I packed up my car. Called Uncle Timbo, said, "Yo, bro, I'm coming down to fight." Tim said, "Let's go." Fucking hooked me up with a room. Shug was just getting to the UFC, and then Tim called me. He's like, "Hey, Shug's got like an extra room if you want to rent it." And like I knew Tim for growing up from the fight scene because I grew up in the fight scene, like
Mm.
in Montana too. Like as I was wrestling. I was always my dad was like obviously a professional MMA fighter too, a little bit of a fighter. So I was always around the fight scene, and he was always training guys, and I'd see them training. I was be like sixth grade or something like that, and then they'd all be like 18 years old professional fighters, and I was just like would train with them, and I loved that shit. And I was like I knew what I want to do, like fight like out of like a young age. I remember thinking like in like third grade, seeing that shit on TV and being like, yo, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like so. I remember I'd like we do like school projects and I fucking hated school, like everybody knows that. And we'd be doing school projects and like we'd have to do like a job, research a job. I remember some shit in like fourth grade or something like that. And obviously like I didn't do any of the project, bro. So then I woke up like the day of that it was due and I just wrote up like I'm gonna be a professional MMA fighter and I just bullshit some numbers on the project of how much I was gonna make and all this shit and then said that my teacher's just like this is bullshit. Like you need to do the real thing. I was like, dude,
Damn.
that's like what I'm gonna do when I grow up. So yeah, I kinda always knew I was gonna fight. That's why I mean like I said, I wrestled in high school. I loved wrestling. Wrestling was like my first like
Hmm.
combat martial art that got me to like really love like the one-on-one combat aspect of competition. Like wrestling taught me how to like I love that. And then but I knew I wanted to do fighting instead of wrestling. You know, I didn't really like school. I got offers to go wrestle in college and shit, and I didn't like school. And I knew I wanted to fight, so
Yeah. Damn. So you basically grew up on the wrestling mat and then like an MMA gym then. Where was that gym at?
it was a few different places. I mean, it popped up around the time because martial arts is pretty new. You know, it wasn't even a thing until I was like in like second or third grade. Then I remember like it started to pop around. Like I was
Mm.
like in like third grade when they first started doing them down here. And there's this old gym called ECMMA, like way back in the day, in like a garage downtown. That split up, and then a few people made like Team Wolfpack, and had some pretty tough pro fighters like in Great Falls out of it. Like some of the, I mean, they did good like locally and around the state. So that was down at the Heisey for a long time in the basement of the Heisey
Oh,
in Great
yep.
Falls.
Yep.
So that's where I would go, and I'd be like going and training there, and then I'd be going to wrestling and stuff. Like I remember in my freshman year, my schedule was like I'd wake up, I'd go do CrossFit, and then like after school I'd go to wrestling, and then after wrestling I'd go to MMA practice, and I did that my whole freshman year, like CrossFit in the morning, wrestling right after school, and then MMA. So like I was always like constantly in the gym, constantly around it. Montana, unfortunately, like it didn't have the the best opportunity to, like for like training partners and knowledge
Mhm.
of the sport. So I kind of always knew I had to eventually move away. So the plan was always to since about like sixth grade, because Tim Welch, my coach, he moved out to Arizona and was like Benson Henderson's main sparring partner when Benson Henderson was like the champ in the UFC. So
Mhm.
that's like how like we all knew about. That's how I found out about the lab out
Oh.
here. I saw Tim doing his thing. I was a big fan of Tim because Tim's a fucking legend, goat from Montana. So I was just like saw Tim doing his thing, and I remember hitting Tim up a few times in high school, just telling him like, "Hey, I'm coming out there. Like, I'm only fucking going to school to wrestle. Like, as soon as this shit's up, like, I'm coming out there." And then, yeah, like I finished up my wrestling season, senior year, went undefeated, won my third state championship. Said, yeah, like I said, fuck school. I was gonna, I didn't go out to Arizona right away. I had, yeah, so I did the local scene in Montana, obviously the fight scene, for about like 8 months to like a year before I finally moved out to Montana. Because what I did like right out of high school, um, my senior year. Well, I obviously I didn't get like walking like I had too many absences, all this shit. So I kind of graduated early, type of deal, whatever,
Yeah.
and just got my diploma. So like as soon as that happened, I focused full time MMA. Like so that had to be like right after wrestling season my senior year. I just started focusing on MMA full time and told Tim like, yo, I want to come out to Arizona. He's like, all right, just like start taking fights and train as much as you can and save up money and like we'll make it happen. And then like yeah, so like I had my first MMA bout, obviously, and had a few fights, and then I remember Tim hit me up like 8 months later. He's like, "Hey man, like Suge's about getting UFC. This really like when he's before the Contender Series, he's getting a house. He's gonna have an extra room if you want to come out here and like try to see if you can do this shit." And I was like, "Bet." Like I already started saving up money and shit. I was training as much as I could, trying to save up as much money as I could, waiting for that call, take as much fights in the local Montana scene as I could. I even flew out to Vegas and fought on King of the Cage as an amateur
Mm-hmm.
without any coaches or training. You know, I just brought my dad and my grandpa because it's just like I mean I didn't have any coaches or training, so I was
Yeah.
just like fuck it, like. But did that, yeah, and then obviously I moved out to Arizona, started training under Tim and Suge, like so, yeah, so it's been sick.
Yo, that's crazy. And you kind of then you had to come up with killers too, like from wrestling, like you said, like Dobby, all those
Yeah,
dudes,
dude,
and
for sure.
like iron
Like the
sharpens
wrestling
iron.
that made me definitely wrestling. I owe a lot of my like competitiveness and honestly my understanding of how to just win under pressure and perform when the lights are on. I just know how to in that instinct. Like I'm gonna find a way to win. Like that's you know what I mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what wrestling taught me how to do. So yeah, definitely owe a lot to that.
Mm-hmm. Before I go to this chat question, have you got one?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You've talked a lot about Tim already, so could you kind of walk us through your relationship, kind of how you guys met, and how you've kind of established that relationship to get you where you are right now?
Yeah. Tim's just been like I said. I mean, I was in third grade about the time that the local MMA scene kind of started in Montana. And I traveled to well, I'd go always go to the fights when they're in town, and then I'd travel and see fights. I remember like just seeing Tim do smokers, like when and he was a wrestler and just like a scrappy kid. And then I remember seeing him get into MMA, and I was like young, and I just remember like seeing him in the MMA scene because I knew the MMA scene. Like I trained a lot in Great Falls with some of like Great Falls good fighters. Like I used to spar Leo Bercier. He's a local fighter in Great Falls, Montana. Like as a kid, I used to spar him. He used to beat the fuck out of me. Like I mean, I always knew of these like guys that were a lot older than me. You know, I was just a kid, but I just loved this shit, so I knew of them. So yeah, I just knew of Tim, and then I'd see him at like the fights and stuff, and he'd say what's up whenever he came to town. Sometimes I'd see him at gym, and I'd be able to get some knowledge from him or something. I'd just see him around, and you know I'd keep in touch with him on like socials on Instagram. You know, like he always knew of me about like kind of type of deal. He was a scrappy wrestler, so that's kind of why he gave me a shot to come out. Like that's kind of the same thing he did with Suge too. Like you know offered Suge like an opportunity to come out because and Suge's like 3 or 4 years older than me, so that happened like 3 or 4 years before I came out, and then kind of did the same thing to me, gave me an opportunity to see if I really wanted to do it because like a lot of people say they want to be in the UFC, you know, and like do this shit for a living, and like yeah, a lot of people can have like quick little fame, like quick little pumps of like glory and stuff where you maybe make a big payday, something like maybe you make 20. Oh, what's this start? There we go. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I got you.
Maybe make like 20K or something like that. You know, people get like thinking like the man, you know, but like in the long run, like you got to have a nasty skill set
Oh
to really
yeah.
make it in the sport, to really make money. Like you can get to UFC, maybe lose a couple fights, get out and say you made it to UFC. you can like win some cool other things, little other titles in other organizations, maybe make 20K, call yourself world champ, whatever you want to call it, but like to really understand that if you want to be able to one day like make a living doing this, like you have to train with the best in the world and like test yourself with them every day to become the best in the world. So that's kind of why I moved out to Arizona. I just knew like, I had to go train with like the better people, and that was a big eye opener for sure, like cuz like I dominated the Montana scene as an amateur. Obviously, before I moved out there, I kind of thought I knew how to fight. I was a good wrestler. I was scrappy. And then I moved out to Arizona, got put on the fight team. Like a lot of people usually got to like try out for the fight team, but I guess since Tim vouched for me, they let me on the fight team. I remember pulling up to like the first practice I pulled up to. I was like 18, 19 years old, whatever. Pulled up on Saturday to a sparring session, thinking like I'm gonna spar, and then like Benson Henderson's in there, and this is back in like 2017, so he's like a lot more in his prime too, like a
Mhm.
lot tough, and like just a bunch of UFC fighters in there, a bunch of killers in there, and I get in there and I'm 18 years old, and like they beat the fuck out of me to make me prove myself, and like a lot of people thought like a lot of people I've seen so many people since I've been at that gym like come and go and like never come back, but I just always came back every day. I remember for like 2 3 years straight, dude. I just got my ass beat for like 2 3 years straight.
Fuck.
Then I started to finally kind of like find some more success in the gym, and I was like, hey, you know what? I think I can do this. I can think I can make some of this happen. Went pro, obviously. Then that kind of sucked because right after I went pro, 4 months later, the COVID shit happened, so I couldn't fight for like 3 years because
Dude.
the organization that I fight for in Montana
Yeah.
stopped running shows, and they didn't do it for like 3 years later, which is just kind of why I started to start fighting again. Because when they originally came back like a year ago, I was dealing with some injuries, so I couldn't get back yet. So I went pro, and then I had like a 3 year layoff from competition.
Mhm.
And then I just came back this year, and I've racked up 2 fights, and I got another one coming up in 8 weeks.
That's dope. I'm gonna tail back real quick. What was it like pulling up to that first gym session? Like, come 18 years old, just pulling up, bro.
I, I got fucking bro. I don't like. I love it, like the process
Yeah,
that I had to go through. I didn't know it's gonna be like that or that hard because you just have no idea.
yeah,
Literally, like I've seen all the time with local Montana fighters, people in Montana that all due respect to them. Like I love what they're doing. Like they're risking their life. They're getting in there too. Like that takes balls. Like
yeah.
fuck yeah. Like hats off to you. But I mean, you don't really know how good you are until you come out and you train with people that are world champs in the gym, and people are making hundreds of $1,000s a fight around you. People are doing this for a living at a
Mm-hmm.
high level. Until you go train with them, you're never gonna know. So I just kind of like I didn't really think it was gonna be that hard. That me, like I'm, because that's just like I'm like you kind of have to be like that. I feel like to be a really good fighter, you almost have to be delusional. I've always been delusional. Like I've always said I was gonna do something before I've been able to do it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so I was just thinking like I was thinking it wouldn't be that hard, and like I remember walking in there thinking, yeah, this can not be that bad. And yeah, I remember just fucking getting the shit kicked out of me, dude. Hardly could walk. Like just I remember there's always so many days I'd go question this. Like I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna like I was like I thought I was good. And then they just fucking do that to me, and I'm just like, dude, how am I ever gonna like learn how to do this like at a high level? I'm like, this shit's so hard. You get like, gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
so it was a big eye opener for sure. It was humbling experience I went through for like 2 3 years. I just because I obviously kept coming 2 days every day,
Yep.
training full time. So I just kept coming back, dude, and like it eventually I kind of just started to figure it out. Like it's kind of that's like the recipe to anything. I feel like
Dog, I'm happy you're fighting again because I remember like you just started kind of getting things going, and then it was like, damn, I was just waiting when you're gonna be able to fight. In this last, like year and a half, you've been pretty damn active, right? How many fights have you fought?
Well, I had this year I've fought twice so far, two
Huh?
first round TKOs. I had another fight booked, flew all the way up to Montana in this summer. Like for my third one, it's gonna be 3 fights in 3 months. I ran them 3 months because I did
Mm-hmm.
2 fights in 2 months. I was gonna run a third month to get 3 fights real quick. Flew up there, the guy like backed out last minute. I don't know what it was, like some injury or something. Didn't get a fight. Then I was dealing with some injuries, so I kind of rested those up the past month, and I'm about to hop. Like I'm in fight camp now. I've kind of been in fight camp for the last week because I'm another fight coming up now in October. But I mean, through that whole 3 years, that's what people didn't understand. Like, I went pro. I came out here to train full time. I've trained full time since I've been out here at the highest level. I've been so I mean that's quite a few. I've been
Yep.
doing that since like 19 years old. I'm 25 now, so I've been training with killers for 6 years now. Like I know where I stand. I know where my skill set is, and I'm like ready to test it against the best in the world. And that's kind of why I've stopped fucking like I didn't post on socials for like 3 years or anything like that. I just kind of went in the shadows and grinded. No one really knew it if I was. I'd get messages all the time like, "Are you still fighting?" Like all this stuff. Like no one really knew. Every day, like I still was doing my schedule 2, 3 times training a day, like full time training through those 3 years. I remember one time actually during COVID, Suge had a fight in the UFC, and the gyms were closed down. Even the lab, like a high level gym like the lab, like they weren't letting people show up at the lab. It was so locked down out here. So they rented like a warehouse, Tim and Suge, and put an octagon cage in there, bro. And
Yeah.
that's when we fought Cheeto. And we did that, and I was because I sparred him for most of that fight camp, and we would just meet up in an octagon in a warehouse in the middle of COVID and just spar and train and do mitts and jits and
Hmm.
shit. It was nuts.
I
So I
remember.
mean,
Oh, yeah. Go
training
ahead.
for 3 years, dude, and then I was just like, I started to like see better success in the gym, and I'm like, and it grew my confidence. Like I've started like just see some good success in the gym. That's all I needed, and now I know I can do this at a high level, and I'm just ready to fight whoever's in my way and get to there. So, fuck yeah.
That's fucking crazy. I remember seeing that. I think Sugar Tim posted something, maybe even you, of like that. Randy says little underground training camp, but like in that warehouse. You got to get it in, dog. Like you still fight. You got to get
By
it in
all means.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Um.
It was tough.
Go
It was
ahead.
tough making that work, just like because obviously, like I lost all my sponsors during COVID because like businesses in Montana that were supporting me weren't doing good. So I mean, it's tough, and but I found a way to keep training through it, dude, and stay in the gym the whole time, just knowing like, yo, like if I'm just in the gym getting better, it's gonna pay off. It doesn't matter. Like if I have the hardest part about it is getting the skill set.
Yeah.
Like you can do all the other stuff, but if you don't have the skill set, like you're not gonna make it to the top. So I just took my time and just focused on one thing. Like fuck the noise, fuck everything else, fuck competing right now. I mean, just get in the gym with killers and just like get good, and that's just what I did for like 3 years, and I came back to competition this year and trying to make a big push for UFC. Like I hope to be in UFC within a couple fights. Like
Yep.
with like next year, I want to fight in the UFC multiple times.
Yep. It's all gonna come to fruition, dog. The work comes. Randy's
So,
asking. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Hef.
yeah, I was gonna say, we got a question here. I was gonna ask this question too. So, what's the difference between being in fight camp and just your overall general training?
Well, I'd say that's different for most fighters for sure, but for what I do, most fighters they don't really eat healthy year round, like that healthy. I eat fairly healthy year round. Like I'm like I treat it like a lifestyle. I try to be a true martial artist. Like I eat healthy year round. I train full time year round. So I'm never not like focused and not training, but fight camp just goes from like it's just kind of more locked in, even just more locked in, and then like more intensity, and like we're training to fight now. So like when I'm just training outside fight camp, I'm kind of like learning new things and trying to practice new stuff maybe, and practice new techniques and what just go learn stuff and just like take care of my body but learn techniques and learn a lot. Fight camp's more of like, okay, we learned everything. This is a brutal 8 weeks of like some hard intensity training with a hard diet, like even more locked in diet and like harder sparring. So like I don't spar too hard outside of my fight camps. Like I don't like to spar hard. Like I don't like to get hit in the head. Like I'm a smart kid. I like to sell solar. I like to do other stuff, business stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get hit in the head a lot. So I don't spar too hard or too much out of fight camp. I'll play spar and stuff like that. But in fight camp, we then tend to spar a little harder. It's every Wednesday and Saturday, you'll do what is called cage rounds in fight camp, and starting about like 8 weeks out, every Wednesday you'll do one cage round. Saturday you'll do a cage round. And then you get to about like 6 weeks out, you'll probably start doing like 2 cage rounds. Like that means you're fighting somebody in the cage for 5 minutes, a minute break, and a new guy comes in that then you fight him. So you're getting two fresh guys and you stay in there for like 2 rounds in a row of 10 minutes. You do that about 6 weeks to 4 weeks to 3 weeks. Then for like 4 sessions, you'll do a full 3-5, like a 3-5 fight against a fresh guy every round. And then they're live in there. I mean, I've seen people get knocked out in those cage rounds. It's intense. Like people at the lab talk about all the time when they're getting up in that cage during those cage rounds. Like it feels like a fight. It resembles a fight. We're fighting in there. It's legit. So that's what we do during. So I mean, we fight twice a week like killers during fight camp. So then by the time the fight's there, it's just like this shit's fucking cake. Like I just fucking fought killers for like 3 rounds straight, for the last 8 weeks. So that's kind of like the difference between training outside of camp and training in camp. So
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Bro,
man.
you got dudes like you're in there literally just scrapping for 10 minutes. You seeing dudes go out like,
bro,
okay,
Benson
go
was
ahead.
when Benson Henderson was part of my last fight camp. He was my first round, bro. Fucking ex-UFC champ, ex-UFC champ. I'd have him my first round. I remember, and then Coach Crouch, because Coach Crouch is a legend at the MMA lab. Like he's been like Ben Benson's coach since Benson was like the champ and shit. I
Yeah.
remember Coach Couch just walking up to me, looking at me. Well, he's like, "Well, kid," he's like, "You won't ever see around that hard for a while."
Oh,
And then fucking
yo,
gave me some water. I was like,
yo,
"Damn right, I won't." Fuck.
that's wild. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I just started like I joined some gym out here, but it's not like we're not like fighting or anything. We just do like some MMA boxing stuff, but more like just like a cardio kind of class, just like getting in shape. Bro, that shit was tough. I
Yeah.
was I was tired. I was like I had like the big boxing gloves on and we're like hitting pads and then we do a little sparring at the end. And even the sparring rounds, bro, I was like, oh my God. And it was like for like 15 minutes straight, just find a new partner. And I was like so out of my element. So like I couldn't imagine being in there fucking Benson Henderson, with some
Yeah.
killers. Like,
Damn.
Dude, right, it's just like, well, I would say I want to do this for a living. Like I mean that. Like I want to be champion UFC. Like I want to do this shit. So it's like who else am I supposed to be practicing with? I got to practice with the best. I got to test myself against the best, the way I look at it. Like I do remember being young, first getting there, looking at Benson. Benson beat my ass outside the cage. Never thought I'd ever step in the cage with him. Like literally thinking
yeah.
that kind of just like, because I was give or take, I was a couple weight classes a little bit lighter too back in the day. But then now it's kind of funny. Like 6 years later, like I've been sparring him and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
did some cage rounds with him, and pretty cool to see that come around. Because now I just can spar him, and then fucking I just never thought I'd be able to do that when I first got there. So it's
Right.
been sick.
That's great.
But from like the beginning, bro, from Great Falls in those wrestling rooms to now, you've been around dogs. You know what I mean? And you just come up like I totally believe in that iron sharpens iron, man. You know what I mean? And like it seems like you got a good group around you that's like giving you the knowledge and putting you in good situations to grow and like succeed in this area. You know what I mean? And like no matter what, like if you're a teacher, if you're in the military, no matter what, like if you want to be the best, you got to be around the best. You got to listen to the best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like it seems like that's kind of the situation you're in, and the sky's the
Yeah, I mean,
limit.
that's definitely it's just kind of been my nature now at this point. One-on-one combat competition. You're right. Like those rooms were intense at growing up as a kid. We had I mean, I was lucky enough to grow up around some high-level wrestlers around my state. I mean, we won state 3 times as a team when we were in high school. Had a bunch of good ass wrestlers that went off to wrestle in college. So I was blessed to be around those guys that were a little bit older than me like that and beat my ass too when I was younger. And like I
Mm-hmm.
always looked up and I was like, I need to get as good as these guys. So like I found those guys and I'm like training. I know I was like they're older than me, more experienced. So I was like I gotta outwork these guys and find ways to catch up to these guys. And I've always like thought like that. So like yeah, I was lucky enough to grow up around a good group of people to wrestle with, and I'm around a good group of people out here, bro. And yeah, I'm blessed. That's been a blessing. Like growing up around uh, out here for the last 6 years, seeing Tim and Suge do their thing, taking notes out of their book. Suge's one of the most self-disciplined fighters I've ever met. Like his self-discipline. I see a lot of other UFC fighters and their habits, and Suge's a champ for a reason. So no, I mean he definitely earned that, paid in full. Definitely the most disciplined fighters. I just like took notes out of his book, about self-discipline, like eating healthy, but also taking care of my body, and just like listening to Tim and Suge's podcasts over the years, and just like spitting game with Tim, and Tim giving me knowledge and shit. So it's been a blessing coming up under them. I mean, you definitely need people like that to get to the top for sure. So I've put in a lot of hard work, but I've also got a lot of good blessings that have came my way. So I'm definitely fucking just grateful to be in the position I'm in for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. That's crazy. It really
Oh,
is.
I got one for you. We've talked quite a bit about the fight scene in Montana, so I'm not overly familiar with it. We've seen some rumblings going around on social media about a certain bare knuckle fighter. I was wondering if you had any input or any opinion on any of that.
Hey yo, someone tell Stuart Little he a bitch. No, yeah. I mean, what do you want to know about that? I guess.
I mean, where does that beef start? I know he's been calling out
Yeah,
Suge.
like what's going
From what
on?
I've
Like what's going
understood,
on
you've had
here?
a fight scheduled with him before, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So maybe if you wanted, you could say, well, tell us why it didn't, or if you'd want to fight him in the future.
Oh, like why the beef started? Okay, so
Yeah,
like, I mean, I don't know. I've always known. I guess I kind of like knew the kid from growing up club wrestling. He's always a decent little wrestler. I guess he wasn't the best, but he's decent. And then I don't know. He got in the fight game, and I was like, yeah, that's sick. Like props off to this kid. Never had like thought anything bad about him. I knew he ran his mouth quite a bit. I heard other people like say that he'd run his mouth and then not fight any fighters from there's some Great Falls fighters like this Amari guy. It's a pretty tough kid. Tried to fight him MMA, and like guess like people are saying he was like dodging tough fights or something like that. But I never thought bad of the kid. But then I came back to fight, right? In March. And I fucking sell more tickets and tables than any fucking fighter in Great Falls. Like, that's a fucking hands down fact. So when I was coming back and like I'm fucking and me when I came back in March with Tim, I was thinking like, yo, I'm probably gonna be like I'm gonna be the main event because I'm gonna sell at the show. Like no one's else gonna sell so many tickets, right? Card got announced. I'm thinking I'm main event. Card got announced. Like the promoter kind of pulled a fast one. Made it seem like I'm gonna be main event. Got announced. Kai's the main event, and I'm co-main, and I'm at 145, and he's at 145, right? And so he's fighting a scrub, and I'm fighting a scrub because I couldn't find anybody tough enough to fight me. So like they grabbed some kid last minute. I need a fucking fight competition, whatever. So I saw that, and I'm like, I didn't like that. I called the promotion. I'm just like, I'm like, I'm gonna outsell this kid and all this shit. And he was like, well, like he's been doing the BKFC scene, so like whatever. And I was pretty pissed about that, and like I was just like whatever, like and like even Tim was like that's so. Tim said something like, "Damn, you should definitely be main event," but like he's like, whatever, let's just steal the show anyway.
Facts.
So I remember talking to the promoter, and I was like, dude, like come on, like I literally. Okay, so I was talking to the promoter, and that card got released, the poster, and everybody was like saying these fights, like there's like a couple scrubs, and then kind of Tommy. So I was like, you know what? Let's give I'm the fucking people's champ in Great Falls. Like, fuck all them other guys. I was like, let's give the people what they want. Then I was like, if he's fighting a scrub and I'm fighting a scrub, I was like, he's a 1-0 pro. And I was a 1-0 pro at the time. I was like, why don't we? Or he was a 2-0 pro, and I was a 1-0 pro. MMA. And I was like, why don't we just fight then? Let's give the fucking people what they want. I was like, you want my main event fucking. And I said that, and this is all over, and this is facts, and this is why I can talk my shit, because I'm willing to fucking fight. So I said, let's give the fucking people what they want. Let's give them a good fight. And I said, let's do this. And even Tim shared it and said, yeah, like, let's give the people what they want. And, I tried to back him in a corner to make him look like a fucking pussy to either fight me or get the fuck off the card and give me my main event spot. So I fucking punked him out for like 2 weeks on fucking. I was training for this fight, and and he was supposed to be main. I was co-main still, and I was just fucking roasting for 2 weeks, like telling him he's a bitch. Too scared to give the people what they want, because literally everyone's like, they're fighting chumps. Why don't they fight each other? He was too scared to fight me. I was like, hey, I'm the people's champ. That's why I should be the main event because I'll fight this fucking kid for it. Like, why would you be the main event over me if you won't fucking fight me for it and you're in my weight class, buddy? Like, Big Daddy's back. Like, I was fucking grinding for 3 years in the fucking shadows and
Yeah.
some of these little fucking chumps back in Great Falls that want to play little fighter, like want to chirp up, bro. Like, I'm fucking back. And that kid's a little fucking bitch because he won't fight. Like, I don't know what the, like, that's like, I don't know what else to say about that kid. Little fucking bitch won't fight. Like,
I thought it was crazy. I didn't know anything of this, to be honest. I didn't know
yeah.
anything of this until some random reporter asked Suge about him. And I was like,
Yeah,
did
well,
somebody really ask him that? Like, I
yeah,
hope he's
because
not thinking about that shit.
yeah, so there was that, and then I was pressuring him, and then so bro, then I started to sell like a lot of like a lot of fucking tickets at tables, and he was texting the promoter, right, and saying like, hey, like there's a wrestling tournament this weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to sell many like tables. The tables were like $600. He can only sell like 5 tables or something like that. It came down to like 6 weeks out from the fight card, bro. I sold 27 tables for $600 and like 100 general admission. And so then I called the fucking promoter, and I was like, because the kid wouldn't fight me. He was just ignoring. Like I punked him. He just wouldn't fight me. He's gonna stay on the card and fight. I called the promoter and I said, "Okay, this is my last card. I'm gonna fucking play." I said, I just sold like 27 tables times that by 10 because 10 people at the table,
Yeah.
270 people. Another 100 general admission was 370. I was like, I just sold tickets to 370 people. I was like, he sold tickets to like 50 people, like for tables. I was like, you can tell him that after I win my co-main event fight, I'm gonna tell me and all my 370 people to get up and go to the halftime early and like fuck this kid and like
Boom.
embarrass him. And they told him that, and he kind of just pressured him off the car, and he ended up saying he had an injury, but he was like out like competing, never had an injury, no cast, nothing like that. Kid's
We
fucking
didn't fight at all.
like the kid's. I'm fucking welcome. I'm welcoming the kid for fucking me even fucking mentioning his name just because like I would just fight him. He's a bitch. So
See, that's crazy. That's
And if-
crazy. Go ahead.
and I want to beat his ass so bad that your boys fucking thought about calling up old David Feldman. Your boys thought about, but
Ooh!
Tim's like fucking. He's just like because the kid's retarded. Like I mean, he made 7K flat for a world title fight. 7K flat. I literally that's how much he got paid because they wanted me on that fight card too, and they offered me more money to be on the card because I know like the poll having Great Falls to sell
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
I actually want to do it, but Tim was like, "Bro, you need to like protect because like you can break hands
Oh,
easy."
oh, dude, it's
And like
brutal.
I don't want
For
to get
sure.
cut open yet, because like I'm not trying to get touched. I'm trying to get to UFC without getting any fucking cuts or anything like that. So when I
Mhm.
get to UFC, I'm ready for those wars, So
Mhm.
I'm just not as stupid as him to let a title boost my ego by making dog shit money for a title. That just fucks your longevity in the sport. It's gonna bite him in the ass later on. I mean, the way I live good, I eat good food.
Yep.
I live good. I vacation good. I would have spent that fucking 20K he made for his little world title fucking by now for sure. So, I mean,
Mhm.
kid must be living like a bum or something because I mean, I just don't know how you can make dog shit money and call yourself a fuck and just see where you're going to go in the sport. I mean, I just don't know where he sees himself going in the next 5 years if he's ever thought about that.
Uh-huh.
But we'll let him ride on this little small wave right now and boost his little ego. But by the time he's ready, the sad thing is, unfortunately for the fans, and this is why he's just such an embarrassment, is by the time he's ready to fight me, I'll probably be in UFC and he's gonna be like washed up and like making fucking $5,000 in the BKFC, and there's gonna be no fight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
That's fucking crazy. You
but
would
that's a
like
backstory.
I agree with Tim. Like I agree with Tim's advice on not doing BKFC, but could you imagine if you like headlined a BKFC card in Great Falls, dog? Cuz like when you
Right.
fight out there, even in the MMA, like what is it, Fusion or whatever? Like it's all over Twitter, it's all over Snap. People are buying tables, you're promoting the shit like every day. Like hit me up if you want tables. Like it would do numbers. First off, it's a savage sport though. Like everything you said's true. Like it's a brutal one. Like I commend them. Like I couldn't fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like they're dogs, but fuck.
That's why I ain't worried, dude, because like if MMA don't ever work out, I know for a fact I go BKFC and beat up fucking tuna cans all day long for little baby checks like that. That's
Dude.
easy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Let's see that. You kind of mentioned something that I think Randy wanted to hear, and I think some of the people wanted to hear too. Like like you're eating healthy, you're doing healthy things, right? Like, what's your daily schedule like? Because I see like
Mhm.
on your Snap, Insta, you're eating good, you have your coffee, you're training, you're journaling. Like, give us a little rundown of like when Tommy's not in war mode, how do you take care of yourself, your body, and like your mentals?
I feel that. I mean, obviously, eating clean to take it. I feel like that's my biggest key to like mental health is eating clean, dude. Even like when I start eating, like my not clean is probably like someone's like super clean eating. Like my not clean eating, my
Mm-hmm.
splurging is probably someone's like super clean eating. But even when I'm like splurging, eating a Shake Shack cheeseburger or something like that, like or start eating like other shit, like I'll start to like definitely feel like my mental health is not as like sharp and start feeling like ooh a little like that like just sluggish some days. So like definitely fucking I just keep my diet clean as I can like year round obviously. And then I guess like a day-to-day life would be like I wake up, I maybe eat some oatmeal protein shake, go hit the gym. Usually first thing I do is hit the gym. I get like a couple sessions in the morning. Then I'll come home, make some lunch, and then usually some well, it depends. In fight camp, I'll chill and rest during that time because I'm training hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll chill and rest during that time. Then I'll wake back up and like go to the gym about like 3 and hit another session from like 3 to 5. So I'm training like 4 or 5 hours a day, and then I come home after that. Obviously, eat dinner. Pretty basic, like wake up, eat, go to the gym, come home, eat, rest, go to the gym, come home, eat, rest, wake up, go to the gym. So it's pretty basic. It's a pretty disciplined life. Very disciplined. Like I don't go out all the time. I don't really have. The sick thing is the way I've made my life out here in Arizona. I was a fucking party animal when I was back in like Montana. I think most people know that about me that really knew me. But I was a party animal. So when I came out here, I knew I came out here for one mission. I'm not gonna spend a bunch of time away from my friends and my family and like sacrifice just growing up around like seeing some of my family grow up and like I'm not gonna sacrifice that, come out here and fuck around. So I really don't have any friends out here that like party and go
Mm-hmm.
like do all that. So it's like I see my friends at the gym, so it's kind of sick. Like my friends are at the gym, my MMA friends, like I work with them, so it's just sick. Like I just wake up, train, eat, come home, sleep, wake up, train again. So I'm just like chill, pretty much do that. Stay locked in. Just kind of like I'm on a mission out here. That's
Yeah.
how it stays easy for me, like day to day to stay disciplined. I'm just on a mission. Like I put myself out here for a reason. I'm not fucking around. I don't have many distractions. So I stay pretty disciplined year round for sure. I'll have some fun after my fights. I like to turn up with the boys that are back home. The day
Yeah.
ones. We'll turn up and have some fun after the fights. But then I'll lock it back in and do my thing. But yeah, so
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 I
you
stay.
talked about wanting to get to the UFC. That's like your end goal.
Hmm.
Staying there, getting there, and staying there. So what's the path like to get to that point, to get to the UFC?
I mean. Pretty much, I'd say the hardest thing about getting in the UFC is gaining the skill set. Number one, right? You have to have the skill set. You have to
Mm,
have the skill set to get in there. I've acquired the skill set. Check that off the list. I'm ready to fucking go. Like I know that for a fact. Like you guys will see for sure soon. But so check that off the list. Number two is probably like need a manager, like a connection. Haven't had a manager. I'm lucky enough to not have a manager. Managers take quite a bit of money, and then they try to get on your UFC contract and take quite a bit, and your money gets bigger there, and they take quite a bit. You already got to pay your gym, so like in the fees during fight camp. So it's like having a manager kind of sucks. So I've been lucky enough not have a manager. I'm 3-0. You see a lot of fucking young up and coming contenders around 25, which is what I'm at, around like 4-0, 5-0, get in nowadays. I'm sitting at 3-0, and I'm planning on getting a couple more wins this year. October's one of them in December, and getting to 5-0, and hopefully I can get in UFC. Hopefully there's like I'm gonna stay training, stay ready. I'm lucky enough to be under Tim, and Tim's kind of like almost like he's like my coach, but almost like kind of be like my manager in a way. So like
mm,
if there's an opportunity for a 45er to step up last minute, Tim's gonna be there, giving my name out there. Eventually, when I get to like 4-0, 5-0 after a couple more fights. Uh, so pretty much that's the path. These next two fights are big. I'm fighting a pretty tough opponent out of Vegas. He's 2-0 pro. He's a pretty tough kid. He's 30 years old. So he's on his way to try to get to the UFC too. He's 30 years old. He's 2-0. He's trying to make ascend too. So I need to take people out like that in fashion, and that's what I'm gonna do October 14th. This guy's a 2-0 pro. If I can take someone out like that in fashion,
Yep.
I'm gonna be ready to make my debut soon. So that's number one. Is pretty much looking at October 14th as like my job interview for UFC. You know, I have 3 first round finishes. If I can get another first round finish over this guy, that'd be 4. You know, I think I'll be fucking right there in the UFC's door. So you know, I'm fucking close. I've been knocking on the door forever, and I'm about to kick that motherfucker in now
Let's
because I'm
fucking go,
fucking ready.
baby. Come on, baby.
I'm
That's
ready
what
to
we
run through a
want.
damn door.
Yeah, I'm ready to run
Yeah,
through a
so
door.
that's kind of like the process, you know. But we'll just see where it goes. You never know what ends up happening. I just need to just keep focused on the fights in front of me and just focus on getting better every day, and then just going out there and capitalizing
Yep.
under the lights. And thankfully, that's fucking probably what I'm most comfortable doing, honestly. Like, the fight camps are hard. It's hard to stay healthy. That's the hard part for me. The diets are pretty hard. I like fucking milkshakes and cheeseburgers like every other human being. Like, I sacrifice a lot. That shit's hard. You know, when the lights come on and I get to fucking go out there and do my thing, like, that shit's fucking, that's easy. It's what I'm looking forward to. So I can't wait to do that.
It's elite. Like it's honestly crazy because it's just not like it's not for most people. I couldn't do that shit. You know what I mean? Like most people couldn't go out there perform and like you factor in the crowd, you factor in there's a lethal person in front of you, you know, and like
I
being
think
able like
wrestling,
wanting that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I think wrestling taught me how to do that kind of, bro. A little
Yeah.
bit. Because I remember being at the Metro as a freshman, wrestling the finals. The Metro's packed. That's a pretty big thing as like a.
Yeah.
I remember, you know, like I was like on JV as a freshman earlier in the year. I was a favorite to win state. Like I didn't like so me to even walk out on that stage and get there. Like people didn't even believe that was gonna happen. I was on JV at the beginning of the year, like
Mhm.
ranked like 4th coming into like state. So then I walked out. I just remember walking on that stage and like I don't know. I think like that kind of clicked in me and helped me like that kind of taught me a thing of like kind of just it showed me something in my head that I realized that like a lot of people might not get to realize is like I did something pretty crazy that a lot of people and almost nobody, like even my high school even like my coaches didn't really think at the beginning of the year, like Coach Comack didn't really think I was going to be a state champ the freshman year. Like I love Coach Comack, but he didn't think I was going to be a state champ, like maybe like 3rd 4th placer. It's like just a lot of people didn't believe I was going to do it, but I remember just like waking up every day, going to the gym, going to CrossFit, and then going to MMA after, just being like, oh, I'm going to win state this year, and just like having that in my head. And then I walked out there and did that. And I just remember that moment after winning state. I was just like, oh my, like it just kind of something clicked with me, just like, yo, I can do anything like if I want, as long as I just go out and work for it, like I did all year. So I was like, I can say I can do all these things, and people might call me stupid and think I'm delusional. But I'm just while they're saying that, I'm just gonna put in the work, and then it's gonna happen, and then they're gonna look dumb. So it's just
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
so I think wrestling kind of taught me that how to go out there. Like I feel like that's one of my best my strengths, honestly. You know, I feel like I'm pretty well rounded everywhere. I've learned how to strike very good over the years. I'm really comfortable with my striking. I like to keep my fights on my feet. You know, and I've obviously grown up grappling. But I think what sets me apart from me and my opponent is I'm just gonna I'm gonna find a way that night to win.
Mhm.
Like so that's just like I don't know, that's and I feel like that's a skill set I believe I have. Like maybe it could be delusional, whatever you want to call it, but I believe it's 100%. And yeah, I mean I don't know. So it's just been clicking lately, man. So out
Yeah.
here, like I really feel like people like call crazy. I feel like this is just like what my destiny is, what I'm supposed to be doing. So like when I go and I'm fighting somebody, I'm not. That's why I'm not really like nervous walking out or anything like that. Because it's just like I just feel like I don't have any other choice. I'm like, this is what I like to do. This is what I'm gonna have to do. So like, fuck it. At this point, like I made just kind of accepted that fact a long time ago. So when I'm walking out there, I feel like I'm able to stay really calm because I've just kind of put enough pressure on myself over the years. Like I've been saying I'm gonna go to the UFC since I was like in 3rd grade, and
Yep.
people are like, "Yeah, you're dumb." So it's just like the why I feel like I don't feel even pressure when I walk out is because I've put the pressure on me to the max already, and I've learned how to deal with it and train with it because I put it on myself because I just expect that out of myself to get there. So I just feel like I can get out there, just be calm, and just it doesn't really feel too fucking too crazy. So
That's crazy, man. Like honestly, just like the whole thing, and I think you got the right mindset, dude. You know what I mean? Like top to bottom, I think you've said it all on here. Um,
Hmm.
like you got to be obsessed with it, dog. You know, and like I like
Mhm.
how you said you put the most pressure on yourself. So when you get out there, it's easy. Like this is my job. You
Mhm.
know, this is my job. I'm gonna take this dude out. Knock this guy's lights out in
Fact.
fashion, not just some boring way. In fashion.
And I feel like but don't get me wrong, like a lot of people can talk that and act like that, but
Mm-hmm.
like I'm one of those people that's willing to go back up and I will prove it time and time after again and keep proving
Hmm.
it, because like a lot of people talk and like say that, but I mean, I'll keep proving it time and time again and go out there and like do what I got to do to knock someone out in fashion, TKO 'em in
Make
fashion,
it
whatever I got to
happen.
do, put 'em out in the first round, make them
Yep.
go to sleep.
Yep. We got a question in the chat. So you said you would to get like a UFC, you would take like a last minute dude if Tim threw your name out there. But like, what are the odds we see on like the Ultimate Fighter or we see on a Contender Series kind of like way to get
Yeah.
in there?
So Contender Series, they do it in seasons, and I'm 3-0. There's only been one fighter that's ever even been on a Contender Series at 3-0. That's Bo Nickel. He had quite a big following, obviously coming out of college wrestling.
Uh,
I would like, and the Contender Series is going on right now. They do it in seasons, so I don't know when the
hmm.
next season would be. I don't. I need, in my opinion. Oh yeah, because my last fight too was at catchweight, all the way up at one. Oh yeah, I fought the guy at like 170 because he missed. It was supposed to be at 160. He missed weight. I fought like a guy at 170. So
What?
my next fight, like I need a fight at 145 and beat another guy at 145 in fashion.
Yeah.
And then if I can do that 4-0, if I could get the 4-0 before Contender Series was over, I could get in, but I'm pretty sure it ends in like 6-8 weeks and my
Yeah.
fight's in like 8 weeks. So like this Contender Series, unfortunately I wouldn't be able to. If I still wasn't in by next year Contender Series, you bet I would be on that like 100%. If they did an Ultimate Fighter at 145, I know the rule for that is because I want to do the one at 135 that recently showed because I used to fight at 35, but you had to have a 3-0 professional record to try out for that.
Hmm.
I now have a 3-0, so if they did do a 45 Ultimate Fighter, I would definitely hop on that for sure.
That'd be fucking
Oh, yeah.
lit. That'd be
Be
lit,
sick.
dog.
Although I don't know if I'd prefer to get in through the Ultimate Fighter. It'd be sick building a crowd, and I think I would entertain people in the house, and
Yeah.
I would fucking make sure the fans were entertained for sure. But I like my routine and my training schedule where I'm at, and seeing the
Yeah.
coaches I have and my trainer that pushes me in my workouts every morning. It's like a one-on-one workout, and he's like right there pushing me, and like I like that because it just like brings out the best in me and my coaches and stuff. So like, and when you go on the Ultimate Fighter, you have to live in that house and you don't get to train with your coaches. So
Yeah.
ideally, I don't know, like yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we'll see what happens. But you guys are just, I got some big plans. I think you guys be seeing me and they're a lot sooner than most think. So
Stay fucking tuned is what that
Yeah.
means.
I just gotta go out there and do my thing October 14th. If I go out there and do that, so
Yeah.
then that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Um, Man, that'd be crazy. And you know Great Falls would sell out every bar. Like I
Oh,
remember when Suge first debuted, it wasn't his Contender Series fight, it was after that when he first got what card was that on? I don't remember. I was working at the halftime. Um was McGregor on that card? His debut card?
Maybe I don't know.
I don't remember. But anyways, the fucking place packed up. I was bartending, I was tripping. And then after his fight, people just started leaking out. But that shows the support you got back at home. You know what I mean? And
I'm I'm gonna rep Montana hard though, like
yep,
Whole
really hard.
state always finds a
I'm
way
gonna
to rally.
I got big plans for Montana, like come back there and do a lot for the youth, for MMA and youth athletes, and I have a lot of big plans for Montana. I love Montana. I love spending a lot of time there in the summertime. I love snowboarding there, so I got big plans for Montana. So fuck yeah, I love Montana.
absolutely. You said you do so like what do you do in solar? Like I know you're fighting, that's like your full time, but you're doing this solar stuff on the side.
Yeah, because I don't know if fighting. I mean, I make pretty good money on my pro fights now because I sell a lot of tickets in Montana, and I got a good relationship with Fusion Fight League. I love them; they pay me very well. I'm fortunate enough. I'm fortunate enough to get paid probably better than any athlete's gotten paid for them. I love Fusion. They treat me very good. I have great sponsors out here. Like I get paid to train full time, which is nice. That's taken years though to be able to establish that. I've got some good business relationships with some very good business individuals that pay me to train. But even with all that, a boy likes to live good, live a lavish life. So I like money, and I'm a hustler. I've always been a hustler. I know how to fucking sell something and make money and get what I want. So fucking solar's booming out here, bro, and it's sick to sell. And if you're a hustler and can sell, bro, like the checks you can make. I did it all last summer to save up a bag to keep like training, and that's how I made like a relationship with this solar company that I'm like partnered with now that pays me full time to train. Like I don't have to do solar if I don't want to, but like extra cash for slapping a deal, and I got free time, and it's pretty fun and easy. You just got to go talk to homeowners, and if you're good at talking to people, and yeah, I mean it's great. It's just good money. That's what I guess. It's great money. So I fuck around and sell solar every now and then. I moved my little brother out here finally.
Yep.
And cause I sold solar all last summer, fucking like I said, and so then I moved him out here finally. Now he's selling solar too. So sometimes I'll go out there, we'll just bullshit on the doors and go out and knock together, sell solar together. So he's doing good with that. So solar's sick, man. So yeah.
Hey, I got a couple college teammates from UP that be selling solar, and they swear just like you did. They swear you can make a bag. They're like
Bro,
they'll go to Texas. They live in Cali, but they can afford to fly because they're selling. But they're like, bro, you could come back 14K in like 3-4 weeks.
dude, easy. A week if you hustle. If you go out there 10 hours a day, you're knocking doors. Like sometimes I see the money I can make from that. I'm like, damn, I wish sometimes I could do this full time, but I love to fight so much, and I just know where I'm going and fighting. So I stay fighting, but in my free time, sometimes I'll go out, slap a solar deal or something. So
Hmm.
I do a little solar.
Yeah, let's see. Got any questions? You got a question, Hef?
I don't think there's any in chat.
Okay. Okay, I got one right here. So we talked about we talked about the training, we talked about the solar, we talked about the come up. But let's get to know you. Give me your top 5 rappers. All right. Who's your go-to? Because I asked this question. I appreciate this question because, or you could do top 5 artists. Just do artists. Doesn't have to be rappers. Because I fully believe
That's
music is
dude.
is your best friend when you're going through some hard shit, training camp, whatever.
Dude, I feel like I'm a man of many fucking masks. Like I can fucking like I can fucking bump like I'll throw down to anything, like some rap, some straight just like some Green Day or something, like like some old school 90, like you know what I mean? But like if we want to talk about like more like newer genre, kind of like modern stuff, I guess. Ah, fuck, who would or like which maybe like what I listen to when I'm training or something.
Yeah, give us your top 5 for a training
Training.
camp playlist, and then give
Yeah.
us your top 5 for when you're just trying to vibe out.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so if I'm fucking in training camp, bro, we got Little Dirk.
Okay.
Oh.
Little Dirk for sure. Probably NBA YoungBoy, dude, because he's just like they just take out the savage in me. That I'm just
Yeah.
like out here fucking, just fucking, you know what I mean? That's just savage shit what we do. So just fucking, let's see, Little Dirk, NBA, fucking.
McKinney's asking if JR Donato's in there.
Oh, that's so sick. What song was that? I'm off that onion or something. Okay, that's funny as fuck. But I'd say Little Baby probably. Like older baby, and then fuck, I don't know what else. Ray Shram, I bump Ray Shram quite a
Okay.
bit, like old school Ray Shram.
Okay.
I fuck with Ray Shram.
That's 4, right, Hef?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's 4.
fuck, it's so hard to put the fifth. Sometimes
Oh,
I'll throw
dude,
back with some 50 Cent,
Dude,
bro.
there
that's
you go.
crazy. 50 brings the dog out. So I bet.
Yeah, like 50, bro. Like I'm just in the fucking good fucking skinny as fuck, feeling like I'm big and shit.
Yup.
Lit.
Yup.
And then if I'm just chilling.
Who you vibing out to?
Top of the fucking vibe chain, Mike.
Okay. Okay.
Mike. For sure. I fuck with him heavy.
Like Mike Stud?
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, fucks
Randy
with him.
loves Mike Stud.
Yeah, no, I listen to like all his music if I'm vibing out. Fuck, let's see what else. Dude, sometimes I'll listen to some like old school classic rocks too. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
You got Taylor Swift on there?
like a little fucking little Stain maybe. You know,
Okay.
a little old school. Fucking what else would I bump if I'm just chilling? Oh, Russ is on there.
Okay. Yeah. Russ is a vibe. Hef and I went to a Russ concert once,
I
bro.
fuck with that.
Out in Seattle, it was dope, but they made him get off the venue at 10. They're like, everyone needs to be out of here by 10. So he had to
Yeah.
like cut his shit short. It was crazy.
But I mean, I'd say Drake too. I fuck with Drake. You know, obviously, I feel
Yep.
like everyone fucks with Drake. I fuck with Drake. Like a lot of Juice World, a lot of Juice
Okay.
World. I'd say a lot. Actually, I can't believe I didn't mention that first. I'd probably if I'm gonna pick like something that's not pumped me up for the gym, it's probably mainly go to is gonna be Mike or Juice.
Okay. Okay. That's a good list right there. That's a damn good list.
I'd be bumping like old school Mac Miller too in the gym a lot, like
Damn.
Donald, like the song Donald Trump, Knock Knock, like.
Mm-hmm. Like that beginning Mac Miller,
Mhm.
bro. That was crazy. Rest in peace. I think about with Mac,
Like,
I think about like the shit he would have given us since he's passed. It's almost what, 5 years? We're coming up on three,
mhm.
like 4 or 5. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean that's the music I'd be listening to too. I listen a lot of Green Day though too, bro.
Hell yeah.
Like
Hell yeah.
definitely listen to Green Day a lot. Polo G, I mean
Mhm.
21 Savage, a little bit of that
Dude,
shit.
21 Savage. Hey, when I'm in the gym trying to get this fat off me, throw on some 21, bro. Come on. He put
Feel
like
my body someone in the gym.
I feel like I'm someone I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'd be looking at dudes a little different, but like really it's like I should just chill out real quick. That's crazy.
That's
Um
funny.
we'll ask you a couple more questions and we'll let you get out of here, dog. We've been
Yeah,
on
man,
for
I'm not
about
a
an
rush,
hour.
dude.
Uh, give us your
Chilling.
top 5 combat athletes that like you looked up to and you like maybe you mimic some moves as like your technique and style after.
Okay, actually, funny you asked that because I wrote 5 things down of fighters. One sec. Where is it? I called it secret sauce. Yeah.
Secret sauce.
Mentality. So like calmness, like mentality would like I guess I put that under calmness. So like mentality and movement and like self-discipline and dedication, like Suge for sure. Like that's what I'd replicate from him. Like take that mental part and that self-discipline, the way you can move and not get hit. Cause like fuck getting hit like all the time. Like make it out like so I take that from him. The ability to fucking promote a fucking fight like McGregor. That's
Oh.
fucking number 2. 3, I need that motherfucking cardio like Volk, baby. I need that Volk cardio. 4, ability to entertain and have showmanship like Izzy. The way you can tie into like anime fans and do just sick ass shit like that. Like I love that showmanship and
Yup.
storyline telling. Ability to grapple like Khabib, which is funny, dude. Like I'm gonna go out there and strike with motherfuckers for so long. I probably won't even grapple that much till UFC, and then they're gonna think like I'm just a striker, bro. And like I'll go out there Khabib somebody if I have to. Like if I want, if I
Yup.
want to lay on, if I want to lay on someone for an easy check real quick, like I'll just go lay it, like and lay on
Yeah.
and beat, like. So ability to grapple like Khabib, and then ability to dominate like John Jones, because in John Jones' last fight, he went out there and made a bag in like 10, like just
Yo. Made it
so
look
those
too easy.
so I wrote that down. I kind of like just make sure I'm always keeping those in check. Like my movement, am I practicing my movement in the gym? Like my mentality and discipline, like like my ability to make like so. I definitely look up to fighters. Like those are probably like some of my 5 fighters, like Connor, Suge, fucking Volk,
Mhm.
Izzy, Khabib, John Jones,
Mhm.
fucking just some of the goats, obviously.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Um, you also mentioned like O'Malley and like his mindset, right? His mindset, way to prepare, or like whatever it was. And I love that shit, and I'm interested in that. So could you share like an experience you had where like your back's against the wall, you're fighting some adversity, and how you use that to like tap in? Because what I think sets a lot of people different is mentality and discipline. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because shit's never gonna be easy. It's never gonna be easy. So how do you get yourself through those easy, like those hard times, you know? And how do you keep yourself on your toes at
What's the
all
most like
times?
hard times through life or hard times in a fight or like kind of what we talking about then? Like
Life, let's go life.
life.
Because like sports, all that kind. I tell my I'm a basketball coach, and I tell my
Everyone,
kids all the time, like
hmm
this shit's real life. Like what you learn from here, you can directly apply to life, and not a lot of people get that. Like if you don't
yeah.
play a sport, you might miss out on that unless you get it some other way.
I guess one of the biggest things too would just be like not really trying to focus on the destination so much of the reward, just like fall in love with the process type of
Mm-hmm.
deal. You know, if you can fall in love with the process and just understand like when like life's like a roller coaster, when you go through those high times and low times, like you just have to understand that's just life. Like, it's gonna be how you get to those highs and lows and like navigate them thoughts in your head. Like you everybody can choose to react bad or good. Like so it's just like gotta understand where you're at when you're in a low point. You gotta just make a game plan of how to get out of there. Like oh fuck, like I'm not eating that good or I'm sleeping, I'm being lazy, I'm fucking not getting like just anything like that. Like I'm not working out, I'm eating like crap. Like um yeah, I mean
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping yourself to it. You know.
yeah. So I mean, I just say, yeah, pretty much like that. Stay disciplined, just understanding like the things you're doing that is making you feel the way you are. I feel like a lot of people like be pretty like going through hard shit, but it's like you would check your stuff. Like, are you eating healthy? Are you working out? Are you like taking care of yourself? Like, are you reading? And like just doing things like that, like find like a system and a routine that works for you, that you see you start having success, and then stay self-disciplined to like repeat that and live by that type of deal. It's gonna be different for everybody, but like that's kind of what I would say is just like find like a
Mm-hmm.
routine that like works best for you and like stay disciplined enough to stick to it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. I think that's huge. Um,
100%. Routine's key.
and
That's half the battle.
Yeah, like Hef said, half the battle, and like I noticed, like you're journaling, like you have like your routine is literally consistent every day to like your
Mhm.
stories. Like oh, he's having his coffee, or okay, he's
Mhm.
journaling now. He's with his trainer or whatever it is, and like Hef's military, and I admire the piss out of Hef too. Like Hef grew up in a military family, and like how disciplined like Hefley was. Like the Hefleys compared to my family is like I really admire that kind of stuff because if
Mhm.
if you stay self disciplined, no matter what it is, I feel like you're gonna be successful. You
That's what
know.
it is too. That's all it is. It's like understanding that you have to have faith in the process. Faith's a big thing too. You have to have faith in your process. Like, because there's going to be seem times like it's impossible and it's not working out and it's not working. And you just need to like stay calm and have faith in the process that eventually it's going to work out. There's be days, everyone has days where they think it's not going to work out the way it's supposed to, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And you just got to just remember, just like stay grounded and just like go back to your routine and just like have faith in the process for sure.
Hmm.
100%.
Absolutely, man. That's crazy shit. That's good shit to hear though for people. You know.
Fuck yeah.
And like, how about you, man? Like, how like that discipline? How does that help you, bro? Like, especially coming
Yeah.
out like you grew up in the military, you went through the military. Like, Hef does the liquor licenses and stuff in Montana, so he, like, if I was on top of it as you, like, I wish I'd be good at what I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's all attention to detail and picking out those little things. And I'm sure Tommy can relate to that with his training and stuff. It's all about attention to detail and um, the mindset you've talked about and the discipline that's crazy, dude. Waking up every single day doing the schedule that you do, you got to
Yeah.
have that discipline, man. That ain't a lifestyle for everybody.
I've been on a pretty legit, like, because it's always shaped and changed throughout the years, but I've been on like a similar set schedule that hasn't changed much in the last 3 or 4 years. Like, and it's just understanding like the like little atomic, like little habits like that build up, like journaling or reading or just like getting up and doing that every day. Little habits built up, you know what I mean?
Mm,
One of my favorite, one of my favorite things I ever like read was like people are talking about like comparing like your success to like melting an ice cube. Have you ever heard of that comparison? So it's like, look at it like this. Imagine if someone told you like in 30, like you had to melt. So imagine if you had to melt an ice cube
Mhm.
in like 30 days and like you get $1 million, right? And like it's sitting in a room and it's at like 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you only, every day, all you can do is only turn up 1 degree, right?
Mhm.
1 degree. For 15 days, like forever, right? Until it gets to all the way to 31 degrees, 32 degrees, like it's still nothing's gonna look like you did anything.
Yeah.
So like all that just gonna look like wasted work. But then when you finally click it and put the degree above 33, like above 32 at 33 where water doesn't freeze, it's gonna melt. So it's just like to just understand, and you did nothing different than you did those last few days. You just did the same thing you did the last 15 days. It just so happened that timing came together with your little atomic habits building up and like success, like you know what I mean? So like it's just like there's like a recipe to it. And if you find that recipe and like find success in that and just learn how to replicate that and do that over and over again, like you can apply that to anything. And that's why like that's how like I feel like I can sell solar like or like because like it's I apply my same mindset that I applied to MMA to like selling solar or like you know what I mean, something like that. So it's like the same shit like that. Just understanding the little atomic habits always pay
Yeah.
off. You just got to work for them, like put in the work and just stay consistent.
That made me want to jump through a fucking wall.
Dude,
You know,
right?
but that's the truth, and people need to hear that, man. Like, Hunt, you know Jordan Hunt. He got a tattoo. Shout out Hunt if he's watching. He got a
Fuck yeah.
tattoo
Shout
that.
out Jordan Hunt. I love Hunt. Let's go.
Shout out Hunt, baby. He got a tattoo that says, "Don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle," and that's basically what you just said. Like, and I've seen that one photo where they're like in like they're mining, and he stops just short, but the other
I've
guys
seen that.
like that's it, man. And like
That's why I can never quit my journey, bro. It's just like I see that, see what you just said, that picture, bro. I see that all the time, and I'm just like, I'm gonna, just one, couple more fights, baby. One more pig, I'm fucking in, like.
Yep. And Randy, like with Randy's clothing and shit, man. Like he just got it pop. Shout out Randy's clothing. Hold on, sponsor moment. Shout out Randy's clothing design. Hey, throw the link up in the chat, Randy, if you want. People go. We got some people in the chat. People go check it out. But like,
Shout out EcoVision.
Yep. And bro, that's it. If you're starting clothing, you're trying to be the boss. You're trying to do whatever. You got to be consistent, but stay with it. Don't give up on yourself. Give up 5 minutes before the miracle. Don't give up until the room gets to 35 degrees, you know? I'm saying.
Bro, I read that Ice Cube thing one day and that clicked with me big time. I was like, holy fuck, that makes sense. Like imagine if like the day you're about to turn up to 33 degrees, you walked away, bro, you about to get $1 million. All you gotta do is just go crank that knob one more time.
Bro, and in my chat, I told Randy to put it in my chat. My mod, my night bot won't let him put the link in there. My bad, dog. I'll figure that out for the next time, bro. Shit.
That's funny.
That's funny as hell. But shit, Tommy, we're about to close this thing up. I appreciate you for coming on. On short notice, I hit Tommy up on Monday, and he's like, "Dude, let's run it." And you know, it's episode 2. I think this is a dope person for episode 2, just to have on in general, because we talking a Montana kid, we're talking a fighter, and we're talking someone with a lot of ambition and a lot of goals and a lot of stuff ahead of them. So this is just the beginning. Like, stay tuned. You heard everything he said. He said, stay tuned. All right. He said, stay tuned. Maybe we'll have him on after his fights. Maybe he's gonna come back on again.
Yeah, man, I was about to say we should definitely chop it up after the next fight, bro. Like I haven't really, because I kind of went, like I said, I went to the Shadows train for a while, so I haven't really done much pods or any interviews or anything like this. It's probably like one of the first things I've even talked about all this shit in a long time. So like, you guys got some like a sick ass video. You know, one day looking back at this will be the first video I've ever said most of this shit on. So let's run it again soon. I fuck with the pod, dude.
Yeah.
Wetz and Heff, let's fucking go.
Don't forget about us down here when you're out
Yep.
there.
All right, bro. We'll be chopping up all the time.
Yep. We appreciate you, bro, and thank you for coming in. But yeah, let's fucking get you on after the fight, man. Why not?
Let's
Let's
do
get
it.
you on, and
Get a little
we'll check
story out
in.
of it.
Yep. All right, brother.
Got it.
Um,
Peace out, boys. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
see you, dog.
That was a good one. That's a good one. What the chat think? How we do? How'd you like having Tommy Gunn on here talking about his fights, talking about, you know, his life, solar, like the dude's doing a lot. And it seems like he's in.
That's a life not a lot of dudes can live. That is
Yeah.
crazy impressive. The mindset and just the having to wake up every morning and know what you're getting yourself into and still finding the internal motivation and know what you're doing it for.
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive, man. It's not for the weak.
No, appreciate you, Randy. Randy said W podcast. Thank you, dog. We're gonna get you on here too.
One way or another.
Yeah, we're gonna get
out there.
we'll get the link on here too. But it's crazy, man, because like you said, he gets up every day just to fight. And to chase a dream of like being in the UFC. And people think like UFC, like I watch it all the time. But you think like, oh, I guess I'm saying it wrong. Sometimes we don't consider what goes in behind it. Like he said his training camp, he had Benson Henderson in there. Like
he's like, I'm waking up and I'm going to this new gym 3-4 months, getting the shit beat out of me each and every day, and still finding that will to keep going. And I mean, God bless his soul, keep getting his ass kicked over and over again until he's to where he's at. He's right on the fucking front door.
Yeah,
he's right there.
He's right there, dude. And he got, he's out that Red Hawk Academy, I believe it's called. He's got a lot of shit going for him, and he seems like he got the right mindset and everything, which is dope. Timmy, we love you. Tim said, "Good shit, boys. We love you, Tim." But Heff, before we kind of get off, we got a little bit of time to talk real quick. Let's get into a little MLB. I kind of want you to tell me, if you had to put money down right now, who are you gonna put in the World Series and why?
That's tough. I know NL's the Atlanta Braves, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen the contracts that they have on that team? Their whole young core is signed for the next 5 to 10 years on team-friendly deals. They're gonna be a problem for a very long time. So I got them. Man, it's hard. That AL East. With all due respect, the Yankees suck.
Yeah, hold on. He said it. He brought it up.
Oh boy.
Fire Aaron Boone. Get Cashman out of there. We're done. We hate it. It's been a joke. I'm gonna be honest. I knew it was gonna be like this. I've watched 3 games live all year because I knew what was gonna happen. You gotta fire Boone, and he's not the full problem. Cashman's the problem. Do something. Figure it out. You're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing me. All right, continue.
I'm surprised he still got his job.
That's what I'm saying.
The Rays had one of the best starts of all time. They've fallen off. They got their own fucking problems with Wander Franco that we won't talk about. No one from the AL Central, man. They'll be lucky to have a team make the playoffs at 500.
Randy said, "Go Dodgers."
Oh. Well, they're up there. If it's not the Braves, it's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, whoever comes out of the AL West is coming out of the AL. It's you got Rangers in first place.
It's gonna be Houston.
Houston's a half game behind, and then Seattle.
Hot. They're hot.
There's three teams right there, all within one game. I don't know. This was all before the pod started, so I don't know how it looks now, if anything's changed. But if I'm going on a prediction, my unbiased opinion is Dodgers-Astros.
Dodgers-Astros, huh?
Run it back from a
Let's
couple
run
years
it
ago.
back. Dodgers-Astros. Hey, what up, Jake? Thanks for pulling in. Dodgers-Astros. I wouldn't mind it. Honestly, dog, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it.
Entertainment, dude, because that was the 2017 matchup that everyone's got shit to say about.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You mean the wiretap, right? Yeah, because y'all did that.
No. That was a trash can.
Oh.
Wiretap was debunked. That shit was not true.
The trash can. They didn't do the wiretap. That's crazy. They did the wiretap.
That was debunked. The trash cans, yeah, we'll own it. We'll own it.
We're not gonna talk college football till next week because it'll be starting next, like the ones we're gonna be talking about. But let's talk about a little NBA here. If you had to give me MVP and most improved this year, who you going?
Ooh.
Chat. You answer. Chat. We want you to answer this question too. Tell us who's gonna be the MVP. Give us DPOY. Give us most improved.
Yeah, I want to say Jokic, but we kind of saw it last year that they kind of got bored.
They ain't gonna give it to him. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And we're gonna put one in there. Biggest fraud of the year. BFY. Who's the BFY? Biggest fraud of the year. Who's gonna be the fraud?
MVP, you know,
Jordan said Anthony Davis.
I'll take Luka.
Luka? I like that.
Luka.
I like it.
Most improved.
Oh,
Man.
Randy said Kai Stewart, bro. Randy, you need to knock it off, dog.
Nah, I don't think Jabari's gonna get the touches to get most improved. If it's anybody from the Rockets, it'd be Şengün, but
Jonathan Morant, says your wife.
Jonathan Moran, if he's even around next year, he might win something. Oh man, most improved. This might be unpopular, but I might go Keegan Murray making that sophomore leap.
Yeah.
Sophomore leap team that made the playoffs for the first team in forever, looking to take that next step.
Absolute strap piece. It's so slept on that he not talked about enough how he holds the rookie 3-point record.
And he only
by
did
a lot.
12, 13 points a night.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah.
Get the bigger role, man. Watch out.
Yeah.
Go, John.
So who's the biggest fraud of the year?
Biggest fraud, man. I want to go AD, but he's probably at it the last couple of years.
They're not gonna give him 3 times in a row like they did with Jokic.
Man, biggest fraud. Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna go Joel Embiid.
Ooh, yo, go ahead.
Man, hey, MVP. He's got all this problem, especially James Harden in Philadelphia. There's some inner turmoil. The GM's got a lot to say. There's some good there's enough brewing there to where there could be some issues.
Yeah.
That might affect his play. Coming off an MVP year, I mean, it's hard to live up to an MVP year.
Well,
so that's an easy answer, but there's just so much going wrong around him that I don't know.
LaFontaine said Brad Beal. Thanks a lot, man. It ain't gonna be Brad Beal. He ain't gonna be a fraud. But I saw something on Embiid that was very interesting. He's the only MVP to never make it to the conference finals, and he has the biggest point differential from regular season points to playoff points in the MVP season. He went from like 30 to like 21 or something like that. Like big drop off. And he's a dog, don't get me wrong. Embiid, there's a reason he was MVP. I thought Jokic should have got it, but they were tired of giving it to him. So they had to give it to Embiid. But that's a good one. It's a good one.
Who you got? Let's get your 3.
MVP, I'm gonna go Luka. I'm gonna say like Luka is gonna be the guy who's gonna get like 3-4 of them, in my opinion. Like he's gonna get them over his career, and I think this is his first one. We'll see if he stays healthy. Like, cause Luka does it like from his passing to his shooting. Like I thought last year he was gonna get it, but the record just wasn't there, which I think is kind of crazy. That like they factor in the record piece on the MVP.
Have to.
Not always, man.
No, not always, but you got to at least be in the top half of your league. Winning's got to prove winning's got to calculate.
But the stats need to be there too, right? And like you take that stat off the Mavericks, they're not making it. But I get what you're saying. Steve Nash got one MVP because of that. So
That might
I
have
got
been
it.
hard to take him off the Rockets.
Yeah, like that's why Nash
I
got it
get
over Kobe and Harden got it over LeBron. Like that's how all those other dudes got it over LeBron and Kobe those years. Um, but so MVP, I got to go Luka. I'd say a dark horse for the MVP. I would say like a Jason Tatum. I'd say a dark horse.
horse though.
Huh?
That's not really a dark horse.
You don't think so? Okay, I'll give you a better dark horse. How about this one, buddy? Devin Booker.
Oh, that's just delusion.
No, I think it's
Got
Luca's.
too much
I think
around
it's Luca's.
numbers.
What's that?
He's got too much around him to put up.
Yeah.
The numbers.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, Jordan. Shout out to the Mamba. Happy birthday.
Yeah, shout out to the Mamba. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday. And tomorrow's 8/24.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. I actually got a poster for my room that put down the 10 Mamba rules. I'll post it on the Instagram tomorrow. My most improved this year, I really like your Keegan Murray pick. I really do. I could also see a Scotty Barnes in there. I could see a Scotty Barnes. Let me think. I'm trying to. I honestly, I could see an Ayton in there too. I could see an Ayton in there if he does his thing.
All that slandering I've heard the past 6 months to throw that out.
Yeah. And then my biggest fraud of the year.
DeAndre Ayton.
No, hey, be nice. Biggest fraud of the year. Oh man, there's a couple. Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah. It's a good answer. Boring answer, but a good one.
Would you say Embiid?
Said Embiid.
Yeah, I think. And Cat's a great basketball player. Don't get me wrong, but when I say fraud, maybe fraud's not the right word. The right word might be
Player of the year.
the most biggest disappointment or something. Because does Cat equate to winning ball? And there's always
No.
high expectation there. Ooh,
No.
possible MVP, dark horse, Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
I could see him being a dark horse. Let's see. We
I
got
still
Austin
never get over
Reeves, fraud. What's up with LaFontaine and hating Austin Reeves?
What
Wow.
did he ever do to you, guy?
Yeah,
You
I
made
don't
him
get
a
it.
Trey Turner.
Delia said Jamie Morgan.
No, she was looking at NBA players and she read Jamichael Green and thought Jamichael was pronounced Jamie Shell.
Yo, that's
She always
funny.
quizzes me. We'll go through like the stats and she'll just quiz me on what MLB players are batting, how many points dudes are scoring in the NBA, and
Funny.
we got Jamie Shell.
Jamie Shell. Well, shoot, man. Let's wrap it up there, dog. That was a dope one. That was a really good one. I appreciate the chat for showing out. Randy, LaFontaine, Jake, everyone else. There's a bunch of people in here. I'm curious to check out our summary. Appreciate y'all for coming and listening. Tommy's got a lot of dope things going for him, man.
Conversation. He had a lot of good things to say. Cool being there right as he's getting right at the door, baby.
Yeah, he likes the pod. I mean, he said he'll come on after his fight, and like he wins that, dog. It seems like he's knocking at the door, and it's another Montana kid like doing big shit. Like let's highlight. Like that's what we want on this pod. It's not always gonna be Montana people, but I always want to highlight the Montana people. You know what I mean? Because we could do dope shit too. Sorry for cussing. I'm gonna have to put like a cussing warning on my pod when I put it on Facebook. But we do good things too, and like you get those stories out, I think it, motivates people. Like it shows people they're capable. Like it don't matter where you come from as long as you put the work in. And I think that was part of that message too. He was saying like,
Absolutely.
so, but we appreciate it, y'all. Thank you, Heff. Thank you again. Stay on after this. Let's talk about it a little bit, but we're gonna end the pod here. We appreciate y'all. Hey, and it's only a matter of time.
it's only a matter of time until we get like an intro and outro music. So if anyone
in the chat knows how.
in the chat knows how, sorry, excuse me, we need an intro and outro music. Excuse me again. But peace. Thank y'all. We appreciate the love.